Getting a chin up is one of the pinnacle calisthenics moves, and once you unlock it, you open up a whole world of pulling movements, one of them being the muscle up. Now, for a lot of people, getting their first chin up is extremely difficult. We don't really know how to engage our back, and that's one of the reasons why I don't teach the pull-up first, because it's mostly back, but the chin up tends to be a more friendlier introductory movement because we get to use biceps, and a lot of people are pretty used to biceps. So I'm going to show you 3 variations you can explore depending on your skill level and your strength level, as well as some nuanced training tips and some accessory movements that will help progress your training even further. So today I have my demoees, Luca, Divine, and Renee, who are going to show us what the chin up is all about. But before we start that, make sure to like and subscribe to the Queer Calisthenics channel and get more amazing content. We want to learn how to engage our back in order to do the chin up. Otherwise, it's gonna be a difficult road ahead. So I like to teach what's called the scap pull up, which I also tend to include in my warm-ups just to make sure that my back is firing correctly. Work on depressing the shoulders away from the ears and then relaxing. And we do this without bending the elbows. If I start bending at the elbows, that means I'm starting to use my arm muscles more to get me up rather than my back muscles. Doing the chin up, we want to have a hands facing grip like this. This is chin up. The other way is a pull up. This is also a chin up, hands facing each other. That also counts as a chin up, so long as the hands aren't facing away from you. So here's Q1 and Q2 together, where I engage the back and then I pull up, keeping the elbows in close to my rib cage and then coming down. Now that we've got the cues down, let's talk about some progressions. Feet are going to be on the ground. Using your arms as much as possible, you're going to pull up so your chin reaches above like the bottom of the rings, and then you're going to control it down. So you want to make sure that your rings are high enough. I like to set mine at least shoulder height to make sure that you're pulling high enough while you're practicing this. I can start to lift my heels up, so I'm putting less pressure on my feet. I can start to pick up one leg. This will make it more intense. Once you start doing single leg variations pretty confidently, you're going to want to move up to level 2. So level 2, instead of working from the bottom up, we're going to work from that eccentric, which is the control on the way down, because getting really good at eccentric movements helps you build control in it and also helps you get stronger for the pull up, believe it or not. So you would start up from the top. Make sure you're really locked into the rings here, so you're actively pulling down. And if you're using the bar, you're actively pulling down on the bar, almost like you're trying to bend it in half, okay? You're trying to go as slow as you can. I would say up to 10 seconds on the way down, making sure you get that full elbow lockout at the bottom. I see some people, they go for a box or like they have a surface here and they really jump into it and then they're like swinging and it's harder for them to control. And they're like, I can't do that. Try as best as you can, if you do have to jump straight up into the bar. Don't jump forward, because then your body momentum is going to go like this. And then it's going to be really hard for you to control your body on the way down. Say you're getting pretty good at negatives. You can start to add pauses. So up here, you're pulling, and maybe you're pausing at 90 for a few. Maybe you're pausing just at before your elbows lock out for a few seconds. I highly recommend adding pauses right before lockout, especially if you have trouble with that initial pull. Most people are weakest at the bottom, right before they start pulling, and at the top, right above the rings or the bar. So a hold at the top would actually be beneficial too. So hold, pause. If you can do all 3 pauses, go for it. So level 3, you're probably getting into the chin up area. If you're pretty strong and you got a good background, you might already be locking them out. So basically the chin up looks like this, right? From the bottom to the top. Level 3, making sure we're locking out at the bottom, getting your chin over the top. Now, what I just talked about seems really simple. It's steps 1, 2, and 3. It is not. So this is when I start talking about those nuanced techniques to help fill in the gaps between levels, say 1, 2, getting to 3. So nuanced technique number 1, we're going to pull up using the least amount of assistance as possible. Up, 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 up. Okay, and then from there, pick up the feet if you can. When you feel yourself starting to fall too quickly, maybe put a foot down, really slow it down here. When you're getting tired, maybe your feet are still on the ground, but you're slowing that descent as much as possible, resisting gravity as much as possible. So you're still feeling that engagement in the lats, even on the way down. It's not a passive movement. So I'm trying to get to a full chin up, but I can't quite get there. I can start trying to pull. So I need my feet here a little bit. And then I start feeling light, but I can't quite make it to the top. So I put my feet down again, make it to the top, and then I try to do a full negative like this. Woo! I talked a little bit in part 2 about pauses. In level 1, it would be the same. So maybe I want to do a pause here, put my feet down, coming here, pause, up, pause. Picking positions where you feel like you need a little bit more work and making sure that you're staying engaged. So really locking that pull in. The third technique is just slowing things down. So in level 1, maybe you're doing foot assisted but can't quite lift up the feet yet. How slow can you pull? Maybe count up to 10. How slow can you descend with the foot assistance that you have? Doing overhead presses are also a good way to train your decelerating muscles. So the muscles that work opposingly to the lats and the biceps helps to strengthen those so that you can have more control in the chin up as you continue training. I also really like training pike presses if you're looking for a body weight option. Most likely, if you're working to get your first chin up, you're probably going to do the pike press on your knees. If you want to learn how to do a pike press properly, look for our pike press tutorial. The last accessory exercise that I would recommend is a dead hang, specifically if you're having trouble with grip strength, holding for 20 to 30 seconds. Maybe you're starting with a lower number, maybe 5, 10, building up to about at least 30 seconds. The reason why I recommend a dead hang is because if we have a hard time gripping the bar, we have a hard time creating tension within the back and the lats to pull. A dead hang is a good way to build up to that. Now, if hanging off of a tall bar without your feet connected to anything is a lot or too much, what you can do is grab a box. And then you can build up endurance, and before you know it, you're on one foot, and then you can pick up both feet, and then you can hold your entire body weight. If you do have your first chin up and you're looking to get even stronger in a pulling exercise overhead, what you might want to work on is getting to your first one-arm chin up, which I don't have yet. And if you do have it, amazing for you. But I'm going to show levels 4 and 5 of this in case you want a little extra spicy. One hand's facing in. This is my main pulling arm. So in this case, my left arm. And I would alternate just to conserve some energy. And then for level 5, you would start taking off some fingers. What I've worked up to is one finger on one side, which I don't think is half bad. Boom. If you like what I threw down today, please like and subscribe for more content and join our community. And if you're interested in a program that is focused on building not just your chin up, but your full spectrum body weight strength and mobility, there is a 4-week program down in the notes that is great for beginners to intermediates. I highly encourage that you check that out. So until next time, I will see you later.